Very exciting to be here. Thank you. So I've got this big title, UK Nuclear Weapons Budget and Priorities for Public Health and Human Security. And I thought I'd start just by introducing myself a little bit and the organisation that I work for, which is campaigning for legislative change, and then go on to the nuclear weapons budget in the UK and priorities for public health and human security. So this is my grandmother, who was born in 1900 and spoke harrowingly of the young boys that she knew growing up who disappeared after the First World War and never came back again. And my grandfather, who was a conscientious objector in the Second World War and did farming work. And it was them that got me into the peace movement in the first place. And as a young woman, I was very involved in Green and Common Women's Peace Camp, which was a camp started in 1981 outside the US Air Force base in Newbury in the south of England, women protesting against the cruise missiles there. And fundamentally, we did a lot of non-violent protests outside the base, and many of us got arrested and eventually sent to prison. It was Holloway Prison, now no longer a prison, which is really wonderful. There's a women's centre and housing being built there now. And the organisation I'm working for now, Conscience Taxes for Peace Not War, is as it sounds, and campaigns for legislative change in the UK. Campaigning for a change in the law so that individuals in the UK can opt for the military part of their taxes to go to peaceful purposes instead. And this is why we need to do it. The UK, we have the 6th largest defence budget in the world. I mean, we're a tiny country. It's horrifying. So in the UK, we got the right to conscientiously object to serving in the military back in 1916. So there's no physical conscription in the UK today. However, we're forced to pay for the military through our taxes. And that's what Conscience is campaigning to change, to have the right to choose not to be part of that financial conscription. This is a group of individuals in the UK who withheld part of their military taxes, the Peace Tax 7, and they fought for legal recognition of that right of conscience to be recognised in UK tax policy. And they trying to do that, they went through a whole series of courts trying to be heard. We launched a bill in the UK Parliament in 2016 trying to change the law so that financial conscription we could conscientiously object to it, and the right to have that military part of our taxes transferred over to something called peace tax. We're also part of a wider network of war tax resistors and peace tax campaigners, so if anyone's interested, that's the international network. So these are the submarines at the base in Faz Lane, which carry the UK's nuclear weapons in a beautiful, beautiful part of the world in Scotland. And this, as Vanda said, was us counting the amount that we spend in a year outside the Ministry of Defence in London. This is the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament's estimate of the whole cost of renewing the Trident nuclear weapon system, right from the manufacturing of the submarines right through to decommissioning, so over a whole period of years that the whole thing's operate. You can see it comes to £205 billion. So moving on to the situation we're in now, public health and human security. This is what we said in our Taxes for Peace Bill in 2016. We talked about non-military security, that peace tax money could go to, concentrating on avoiding conflict and non-military methods, removing the causes of conflict. human security goes a lot wider than that, really, and it focuses on 7 different aspects of security, including the health security that we're so affected by at the moment, and of course environmental security. I'm not expecting you to read all this, but this was a national security risk assessment that the UK government did in 2015. And they came up with 6 different tier 1 risks. That's the top risks that they thought the UK was at risk of facing in the next 5 years. And you can see that one of them down there was public health. We know that the resources were not devoted to it in the way that they were devoted to the other ones. These are just some of the articles that are coming up in the UK press in the last few days, concentrating on the lack of personal protective equipment for health workers and social care workers. It's been a grim time. Yeah, and here's the total number of deaths, and you put the total number of deaths up on a PowerPoint, but the pain that's represented in those figures is unbelievable. And these are the charts that we're becoming so awfully familiar with, and you can see the UK is really high up there. You know, so we're high up there in terms of producing and having nuclear weapons, and we're high up there on this. That's again showing the total number of deaths up till today in hospital, let alone outside. And so it's this strange time of us seeing so clearly that the priorities we've had have been so wrong, and yet at another level, a time of people seeing that very clearly. I think lots of people seeing that very clearly, and us turning our priorities upside down. And so I've written a bit about that in a blog recently, and just remarkable things are happening all over, and long may they last. Thank you.